It's great to have you on the show, and it's great to have you here in the Washington, D.C. area. How does it feel so far on the on your very first headline tour? How's things going?
It's been awesome on my first headlining tour. I've never been happier. You know, opening up for people for 3 years, it's like you learn so many things that you'd love to do if you were ever to go out by yourself. And getting to incorporate all of those things into a show, it just makes me so happy. It makes me so happy to be out there knowing that every single person in the audience, you know, bought a ticket with my name on it. It's pretty exciting.
Now, you know, 2 years ago, where were you? What was going on in your life 2 years ago, if you can think back? Did you expect this all to happen? 2
years ago, I was 17, and I was on tour with Brad Paisley and opening up shows and playing for 25 minutes a night. And I don't know if I ever imagined that 2 years later I'd be playing a 2-hour show every night in front of giant sold-out crowds. It's like, you know, I was always the person who never expected all this would happen to me. So this has been a very surprising year.
Now, what have you learned in the short amount of time? I mean, has anything changed in your way of viewing either the business or viewing yourself from when you started to, let's say, today?
Well, everything in my life has changed. Hopefully except the way that I view myself, because I feel like, you know, the perception of me has changed dramatically, even from people that I went to high school with or like my closest friends. They all kind of look at me differently now, but I just look at myself as the same person. You know, you're kind of like, wow, I've been this person all my life, and then all of a sudden it's exciting. And it's really cool to walk into public places like a mall or something like that and have it just go nuts. You know, like I used to dream about that when I was a little kid, but as far as like how I view myself, I never want that to change, because you can't believe in all the hype that people say about you. You're still just a person. So that's kind of always how I've looked at myself.
I read somewhere that your mom keeps you grounded, but your dad is really having a good time out here on the tour with you.
My mom is very logical and very practical, and she's always like, now don't get too far ahead of yourself, you know, and one step at a time. And my dad is just going nuts out here, like handing out guitar picks. Hey, I'm Taylor's dad. Hey, good to meet you. Hey, here's a guitar pick. I'm Scott Swift, you know, and it's just hilarious. He's out there selling t-shirts at the merch stand. It's like, oh, Dad's out again.
And I'd heard you in another interview say that you were really not that popular when you were growing up in Pennsylvania, I believe, that it was difficult to make friends, and you were kind of feeling a little bit out, as an outcast. But I bet you those old people in school now probably calling up saying, hey, Taylor, remember me?
Oh, they don't have my number anymore. But it's, you know, it's like the people that make your life hard when you're younger, if they didn't make your life hard, then you wouldn't have wanted to leave where you were to go where you are now. I never would have wanted to leave Pennsylvania and move to Nashville had I been invited to all the parties. So in a way you look back and you're like, thanks guys, I appreciate it.
That's right, a valuable lesson, a valuable lesson. Now you are a role model, and you are a great inspiration for a lot of younger girls and even older girls who look up to you for keeping such a great, based, clean life. You don't smoke, you don't drink, you tend to avoid, you know, a lot of the negativity that's going on in Hollywood. How do you stay away from all of that? What kind of advice would you give somebody?
For me, it's just never really been hard. I don't know, I've never had to battle with like the temptation of wanting to do any of that. So I feel like it's almost kind of weird that it's such a unique thing that I'm not a train wreck. You know, it's like in all my interviews it's like, so, is it true that you are not drunk right now? I'm like, it's not that hard, guys. Like, you know, I'm 19. I'm not supposed to be doing that.
Right.
And if I wasn't in this position, I wouldn't be doing it anyway. So it's just sort of like, I'm getting a lot of credit for something that's really easy for me to do. So it's really wonderful to be called a role model, and I take it very seriously, and I definitely factor it into all my decisions, but it's not that hard to say no to something for me. I've always wanted to tell a great story. Ever since I was little, that's always been what I've wanted to do with my life. And the way that I've done that so far is with music. But if I read a script that was a great story that I wanted to tell through acting, then I would definitely pursue it. I'm not shooting a movie right now or anything. I'm really, really busy with the tour. But, you know, if I read a script that just really I fell in love with, I would love to pursue it.
Now, talking about the album Fearless, which is doing so well, nominated for zillions of awards, already won several awards. In fact, it was the Album of the Year at the Academy of Country Music Awards. And so you've just had, a tremendous couple of years here with 2 albums out. The album Fearless, did you expect that it would do as well as it's done? Is it? I
don't think so. I don't think I ever could have expected that it would just absolutely be #1 on the top 200 for like 11 weeks. I never thought that would happen. Having written every song on the album and gotten to co-produce it, it's just really exciting to see something that you put everything that you have into do so well. It took 2 years to make it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it was really worth it to put that much time into it.
And a lot of the songs, or if not most of the songs, are written about relationships, your personal relationships with people, both boys and just your family people in general. So is it kind of does it come back to haunt you that you're writing about broken hearts and past relationships, that guys say, well, I'll date you, but don't write a song about me?
Well, as far as writing a song about relationships, that's all I've ever done. Mm-hmm. The only thing that inspires me to where I can write so many songs about it and never get tired of writing songs about it is love. And, the beginnings of love, when it's all the butterflies and magic and stuff, and then the end of it where you feel like you can't get out of bed in the morning. That's what I love writing songs about. And it's not like guys don't know what they're getting into. I've been very open and honest about it my entire career since I was 16 years old. It's like, I write songs about real people. If we date, you're going to end up being a character. You can choose whether you're going to be a good character or a bad character. Choose wisely.
And I also read where you had some dating advice, or at least for guys that were interested in you, and this was to other girls about, X number of, if they text, you don't tend to respond to a certain number of texts, and don't call him back if he calls more than once, or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, no. It's just a self-preservation thing. Like, if you text a guy and he doesn't text you back, don't text him again. Like, I don't know. Like, a lot of girls do that, and they're like, maybe he didn't get my text. It's like, no, he got it. He just didn't text you back. So don't be desperate and ever text twice in a row. Like, I never like to call or text twice in a row.
Who are your role models?
My role models are people like Garth Brooks and Faith Hill. Mm-hmm. I just love the fact that they're so nice to people and they're so good to their fans. You grow up and you have your favorite singers, and then when you meet all of them, that list kind of shifts to the people who are great people first and great musicians second. I've always aspired to be a great person first.
Now, how did you end up in country music? Because you have, you're so talented, and your music crosses over into many different formats. So how do you think you found that niche in country? Has it always been country for you?
I've always felt like country tells the most detailed story. And it just spoke to me since I was little. When I was growing up, it was Dixie Chicks and Faith Hill and Shania Twain. And that's what made me fall in love with country.
And the fans in country music are loyal. It's a different kind of fan. Now, have you done a lot of international touring? Have you performed overseas a lot?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of international stuff, going to Australia, going to the UK, going over to Europe, going to Canada. It's been really cool to get to go all over the world and sing my songs on stage and have people, in a country I haven't ever been to before, singing the words back to me. It's really cool. For me, my life has gone a lot differently than it has for my friends. My best friend, she's in college right now at Kansas, and she's studying journalism, and that's the life that she's chosen. For me, it doesn't make any sense at all. Mm-hmm. If I were to go to college, I would want to study music, and then, after I would get out of college, I would hope to get a job in music, which I currently have. So to give up the job that you already have in music to go study to get a job in music, I've been lucky enough to skip a step. And of course, later on in life, I would love to take classes. I want to be as educated as possible. But leaving this tour, or leaving this life, or leaving the process of making this next album to go study how to do it, just doesn't really make sense to me. The next album, I already have like 9 or 10 songs recorded for, but I just want to keep going and make sure that it's something that I've really put a good 1.5 to 2 years into. Because I don't want to just hope that it's better than Fearless. I want to make absolutely sure that it's better than Fearless, because I never want to go back and just kind of be less of, I don't know, I just never want what I do next to not be as great as what I did before. So I'm going to put time and effort into it and make sure that it's something I'm even more proud of.